Hi BookTube, Sarah here, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm coming to you with my January 2020 wrap-up and stats. Sorry, this should have gone out earlier this morning, but I've been off on filming videos over the last few weeks, and for those of you who've been watching me for a while, you know why. Vlogs have been pretty easy to do, but over the last few weekends, I just haven't been up to filming videos. So now I need to get back in the swing of things, essentially. So I am filming this on Tuesday. It's going to go up tonight as well, but I wanted to share with you my wrap-up and stats for January because I didn't do too badly reading-wise in January, so let's jump in and get started. So as I like to do in these videos, I will go through all of my stats, and then I'm going to talk about my top 5 books of the month that I read. So, first of all, I read 18 books in January, which is not too shabby, all things considering. I read 4 3-star books, 5 3.5-star books, 4 4-star books, 4 4.5-star books, and 1 5-star read, which was fantastic. I read 9 contemporary romance novels, as I like to say, no surprise there, 2 mysteries, 2 cozy mysteries, 1 historical romance, 1 inspirational romance, 1 middle grade fiction novel, 1 romantic suspense, and a women's fiction novel. I like to keep track of the Harlequin imprints that I read every month, these ones essentially behind me here, and just to see exactly how many of each of the lines I read every month. I think that's kind of a fun stat for me. In case you're curious, I do use the Let's Read spreadsheet that Brock puts together every year, and I change publisher to Harlequin imprint, and when I do read a Harlequin imprint, I just fill out that box, and that's what helps me keep track of this stat. Because for publisher, it's not something I really care so much about, so I use that field for these books instead. So I read 1 from each of the following. I read a Blaze, a romantic suspense, a special edition, a Western romance, and a love inspired. I read 15 books geared towards an adult audience. I read 1 middle grade and 2 YA novels. I read 1 book published in the 1930s, that was the Nancy Drew book. I read 2 books from the 1980s, 2 books from the 1990s, 1 book from the 2000s, and 12 books published between 2010 and 2019. I got no ARCs read in January. It just wasn't a good month for ARCs in January, unfortunately. I read 9 ebooks, 4 audiobooks, 3 mass market paperbacks, and 2 hardcovers. 17 novels and 1 novella. I read 16 books were part of a series and 2 books were standalone. And of those 16 books that were part of a series, 10 were part of ongoing series and 6 were new series that I started. Oops. I can't get away from series books and starting new series. I read a grand total of 4,590 pages, averaging out to about 148 pages a day. Again, not too shabby at all things considering. For challenges and events for the month of January, the only challenge that I actually took part in was the Romance Readers Reading Group on Goodreads. I do this every single month, and this was my 4 year and 1 month of doing it. So, what is that? 12 and 12 is 24, 48, 49. So finishing February will put me at 50 months of doing this. That's ridiculous when you think about it that way. Let's jump into now my top 5 books of the month. So coming in at number 5, and these are from least most favorite to most favorite, as I like saying. The first one was Still the One by Jill Shalvis. I gave this one 4.5 stars. This is a book in the Animal Magnetism series, and it was absolutely delightful. It was Darcy's story, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. She has been one of my favorite characters over the last few books, and I was so thrilled to see that she was getting her own book. This is an older series that Jill Shalvis published a number of years ago, and the series itself centers around the small town of Sunshine, Idaho, and the local vet's office, and the cast of characters, literally, who work within and around this vet clinic, including a parrot that likes to swear, and a big St. Bernard dog, and a cat with an attitude. It's a great series. If you enjoy Jill Shalvis, I highly recommend that you go ahead and pick this one up because, like I said, it is one of her older series, but it's still absolutely delightful. Coming in at number 4. This is odd. I think I had the dates wrong. Clearly I had the dates wrong. I did have a book. One? I had 2 books that I read that were published in 2020. Oh my gosh, I don't know why that didn't... I'll have to look at my my spreadsheet because clearly I had it wrong. Because 2 of the books on my list are 2020 releases. The first one, Cold Nose, Warm Heart by Mara Wells. This one I gave 4.5 stars to. This was adorable, about a woman who is the maintenance woman for her grandmother's apartment in Miami Beach, Florida, an apartment full of senior citizens who are delightful. And she has a dog. And behind this apartment complex is a dog park that everybody goes to. And that's the basis of the series, is it centers around the characters that go to this dog park. And there's a man named Caleb who comes in and he wants to redevelop the apartment building and pretty much put a parking lot where the dog park is. And the story goes from there. Super cute, super sweet, really funny in some parts too. I liked all of the characters. I highly recommend this one. I believe this is the author's debut work. Absolutely delightful. Coming in at number 3 was Because of Miss Bridgerton by, of course, the lovely Julia Quinn. I enjoyed this one so much. It was so cute and so sweet. This is a prequel series to the Bridgerton series. The sister in this, like our main character, is the sister to Edmund Bridgerton, who is the father of all the kids in the actual Bridgerton series. So that's how the 2 series, kind of go together and how this one is a prequel to that. There will not be, I'm sure, a book of Edmunds and Violet, which is the Bridgerton siblings' mother, because there was a novella that was written called, I believe, Happily Ever After, that featured their romance. So there won't be a full-length one, I don't think. I don't know. I'm pretty sure she's still actually writing this series. But yeah, this is about a woman who kind of has no interest in getting married, but she's been friends with I think it's the Roxburys, is the, or the Rokesbys, are the neighbors, and it's the Rokesby series. And she has kind of been really good friends with these brothers and the sister for her whole life. The kids all kind of grew up together. They had neighboring estates, And the oldest brother, George, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Billy, no, not Billy. Did she go? Yeah, she went by Billy, and I believe it was Sibley is her name. And she always assumed that she would marry Andrew, which is the brother that was closest in age to her. But over the course of the novel, of course, she finds herself falling for George, who's the oldest of the brothers. And yeah, it's really, really cute. Again, written with typical Julia Quinn wit and characters and dialogue. There is, for those of you who are fans of the Bridgerton series, who are in love with the Pall Mall scene as much as I was, from, I believe it was Colin's book. I can't remember, the Viscount Who Loved Me, I think it was. There's another Pall Mall scene in this book as well, including the aforementioned, or the infamous, I should say, Mallet of Death. Again, for those of you who are in the know with the Bridgerton series, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. It is absolutely delightful, and I know I've said to a lot of people, if that scene doesn't make it into the Netflix adaptation of the Bridgertons, I will be sorely disappointed. Coming in at number 2 was Walk Me Home by Liza Kendall. This one I also gave 4.5 stars to. This was another 2020 release. Again, I obviously messed up on my stats, and I have to look at that and fix it. But yeah, this one was really, really adorable. This is about a woman who comes home for her cousin's wedding and has to deal with her ex-boyfriend. So it's essentially a second chance romance. What really brought this one up a notch for me, I mean, it was a pretty standard contemporary romance. It was really sweet, really cute. What really brought this up a notch for me was that her cousin is the groom, and his bride is a complete bridezilla. And watching the other characters in town deal with this bridezilla is priceless. I mean, this girl is like above and beyond for, like, when you hear about bridezillas, it's highly entertaining listening to everybody in town deal with her. The romance itself between our 2 main characters was really, really cute and very sweet. I enjoyed it a great deal. This is an author I'm not familiar with. I don't think this is her debut novel, but don't quote me on that. But I will definitely be looking. This is the first in a series, as was Cold Nose Warm Heart. Both are first in a series. So I'm absolutely looking forward to reading the rest of the series when they eventually get released. And my number one book of the month will come to no surprise to anyone who has actually read this book. And that was Act Like It by Lucy Parker, the first book in the London Celebrity series. Oh my gosh. I have been meaning to start this series for so long. I know Ashley over at Ash Hearts Books raves about this series, and I'm so glad I finally went ahead and picked it up. This was delightful. It is about two actors who work in the West End of London in the theater, and they do not much like each other, but she is the good girl persona, and he is having a lot of issues with his public persona right now, with how he is dealing with his anger issues and things like that. So their publicists get together and decide to tell them, you two are going to pretend to be a couple to improve his outward appearance to the media. And of course, the fake relationship turns into a real relationship. This book was amazing. I absolutely loved it. I mean, total 5-star read for me. And I cannot wait to get to the rest of the books in this series. So anyway, guys, that is all that I have for this video. I do hope that you enjoyed it. Please let me know in the comments below, did you read any of the books that I rated in my top 5? And what did you think about them? Or what was your favorite book that you read in the month of January? And until my next video, everybody, take care and happy reading. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye, guys.